Pompeii was a prosperous city in the Roman Empire with a population between 10,000 and 20,000 people. It was located near the modern city of Naples in Italy. Pompeii was known for its wealth and luxury. It was home to many wealthy merchants, landowners, and aristocrats, while the working class in Pompeii was made up of a diverse group of people including craftsmen, farmers, and slaves. The city was located on a trade route connecting Rome to the rest of the Mediterranean, which helped to fuel its economic growth. The wealthy elite in Pompeii enjoy a luxurious life. They live in large and beautiful houses, many of which had gardens, courtyards, and fountains. These houses were often decorated with frescoes, mosaics, and sculptures, showcasing the wealth and the taste of the owners. The wealthy elite also enjoy a wide range of entertainment and leisure activities in Pompeii. They attended theater and amphitheater. They also went to luxurious baths to relax and socialize. One day in 79 AD, Mount Vesuvius, a volcano near Pompeii, erupted. On the day of the eruption, the residents of Pompeii and the surrounding area were going about their daily lives, unaware of the disaster that was about to strike. The eruption was believed to have started in the early afternoon, when a cloud of ash and pumice began to rise from the volcano. As the eruption intensified, the ash and pumice began to rain down on the surrounding area, covering everything in a thick layer of gray and black. The falling debris sent people into a panic. They tried to flee the disaster and find shelter from the falling ash. The eruption also triggered a series of earthquakes, which added to the chaos and destruction. Many buildings began to collapse, trapping people inside. As the day wore on, the situation continued to deteriorate. The darkness that descended over the region made it difficult to see and navigate. The ash and debris made it difficult to breathe. Many people were injured or killed by the falling debris, while others were trapped in collapsed buildings. In the nearby town of Opiotis, a luxurious villa was buried by the eruption. When the villa was finally excavated, the remains of several individuals were found, including a woman who was wearing a large cache of jewelry. The woman's position suggested that she had been trying to escape from the villa when the eruption occurred, and the jewelry suggested that she may have been a member of a wealthy and powerful family. Another famous story was about the Villa of Mystery. When the room was finally excavated in the 18th century, a man's body was found, along with several objects that had been left behind. The man's body was preserved in the ash. Before he died, he was protecting his head and face from the falling debris. Archaeologists have found the remains of the people who was buried alive by the ash and debris, but who appear to have made attempts to dig themselves out. For example, some were found with their arms raised above their head, suggesting that they were trying to clear the debris. Despite the chaos and confusion, some people were still able to escape from the disaster. Pliny the Younger's diaries was one of the most famous accounts of the disaster. He was able to flee the area by boat and later wrote about his experience in letters. Pliny the Younger was born in a city in northern Italy in 61 or 62 AD. He was raised by his uncle, Pliny the Elder. During the eruption, Pliny the Younger witnessed the disaster from a distance. Then he wrote a detailed account of the event in his letter to a historian, Tacitus. According to his letter, he and his mother were in the town of the Bay of Naples when they witnessed the eruption of Mount Vesuvius. They were able to escape by boat, and they soon encountered other survivors who were fleeing the disaster. As they were leaving, Pliny observed a cloud of unusual size and appearance rising from the direction of Vesuvius. The ash and debris from the eruption fell like snow, covering everything in a thick layer of gray and black. The ash was so deep in some places that it covered the roof of houses. It was hard to distinguish between the buildings and the ground. It said the darkness was so intense that the people were unable to see their hands, and it lasted for several hours. When he recognized the danger, he ordered his mother to prepare to evacuate the town. Pliny and his mother set out by boat, but they soon encountered other survivors who were fleeing the disaster. They were able to rescue several people, including a man who was left behind by his companions and a woman who was separated from her husband. As they were leaving the shore, they encountered more survivors who were fleeing from the eruption. Pliny described how they were terrified and half dead with fear, and how they begged to be taken aboard the boat. Pliny and his mother were able to rescue around 20 people before they reached safety. In his letters, Pliny also described how his uncle, Pliny the Elder, attempted to rescue people who were trapped by the ash and debris. Pliny the Elder was a Roman author, naturalist, and a military commander who was stationed nearby at the time of the eruption. He was best known for his encyclopedic work Natural History. After realizing the disaster, Pliny the Elder set out in a ship with a group of soldiers and volunteers to rescue people who were trapped in the towns around the Bay of Naples. When the group sailed towards the eruption, they encountered a thick cloud of ash and pumice that made it difficult to see and navigate. Despite the dangers, Pliny the Elder and his group continued to reach the town, which was being buried under a thick layer of ash and debris. There, they encountered people who were trapped and were able to help some of them escape by digging them out of the ash and debris. According to Pliny the Younger's account, ashes were already falling, hotter and thicker as the ships drew near, followed by beads of pumice and blackened stone, charred and cracked by the flames. Uncertainty and terror grew upon us as we wondered whether to stay or flee. Pliny the Elder and his group continued their rescue effort, but they were eventually forced to turn back because of the dangerous conditions. Unfortunately, in the end, he died during the eruption, most likely due to inhaling toxic gases and ash. The catastrophic eruption finally killed thousands of people and buried the city of Pompeii and other nearby towns under a thick layer of ash and pumice. These towns were not rediscovered until centuries later. Since the eruption, Mount Vesuvius had erupted many times, with the most recent eruption in 1944. It is still an active volcano, which could erupt again in the future. Today, the ruins of Pompeii become a popular tourist attraction and a powerful reminder of the tragedy